Morning, guys. Fit here. Y'all know I moved into town, getting things taken care of, figured out. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking my scope off of my AR just to, be capable, make it easier to transport, things like that. But today I'm going to show you putting said scope back on, and then we'll go out to the range later today and confirm 0 for it. Didn't realize that was such a small little Torx head. So I'm taking off the red dot. Again, the idea behind the 1913 Picatinny rails was that way you could remove optics and put them back on in the same spot and they would retain said 0. Honestly, I haven't really played much with a lot of that stuff just for the sake of I normally don't bother with taking things off. I try to leave things, once I put it on, I leave it on kind of a thing. It never works out. I'll admit that. But what I have done here, if I can show you, let me see if I can bring you closer. What I've done here is I've marked where I'm going to put those scope mounts back on. Now, I did not take anything other than the mount position off. The scope and the scope rings have stayed together and on this entire time. So I'm gonna pull it all out. Again, guys, this just made it so much easier to transport. I give it that. Here we are, the scope. Nothing's moved from it. So what I'm gonna do, and I'll probably turn this off for this just because it's gonna take me a while, is I'm going to get the scope rings opened up, mounted back onto those same positions that I had listed or shown right there. And then, because I still got work, I still got a life to live, what I will do is mount it back on, kind of right where I have it. And I will go back to the range and we will confirm 0 from there, just to make sure, as I drop it, to make sure it's all lined up and ready to go. This is also why you should always work with something soft, in case you do drop things, like I do, all the time. I don't know why, guys. Clumsy in my old age, I guess. But, again, just kind of suck it down tight. The theory, because I put it in the exact same spot, in the exact same place, if I go out to the exact same distance to 0, and I aim and I take my shot, I should be 0'd regardless. So we'll test this theory out, see if it works, see if it doesn't, if I need to modify anything. And if I do, anytime you take anything off and back on, at least what I do, again, I don't do it often, but I've done it enough to know, I always confirm the 0 regardless. Red dots, again, kind of a minute of man type of a thing. Pistol sights, guys, I don't have any red dots with pistols, so I could not tell you for that one. If, and again, in theory, you take it off, put the, swap the battery like the old school ones where they didn't have a battery tray. You just undermount the battery, slap it back on the pistol. In theory, it's supposed to be 0'd up. I always confirm regardless of if it's red dots, scopes, prism sights, iron sights. Like, I'm always confirming 0, guys, because I'm that paranoid of a guy. So let me go ahead and tighten this down. Again, I don't have a torque wrench here, so I'm gonna go, hand tight plus a quarter turn. Usually just does the trick. Nothing overly fancy, nothing too tight though, guys. You don't want to damage your equipment. But we'll get it tightened down. I'll head to work, and then we'll head to the range. I'll see you guys there. Well, guys, change of plan. I ended up actually needing to move my front ring back because I wanted the diving board. There you go. This is the precision diving mount from Vortex. 34mm tube because I keep them kind of chunky. Just what I do, guys. Anyway, wanted the diving board because I want to put my red dot right on top. Yeah, I know, they're meant for more like, you know, the cool fancy rangefinder thing you can see there. I ain't that rich, just to say. I'm kind of a blue collar kind of guy, guys. So hence why blue collar dads preparing for whatever may come our way. Anyway, so I did have to move this back literally just one hash back. Again, I kept this one mounted as solid as I could. I mean, I had to unmount the whole thing, slide this one back a little. This one mounted in the same spot, in the same place, with the same torque. This one never moved, so I should be relatively close. My bet is I'm probably going to have to adjust maybe 2 to 3 MRADs. Again, 3 at the most overall. But again, this is why we try things out. It's not just me knowing things, because trust me, guys, I don't know a whole lot. Yes, I was military. Yes, I was law enforcement. I know the basics, guys. I mean, and the basics is what kept me going. But that's why we're here. Not just to educate, but we're going to learn together. That's what we're here for. So I put the diving board mount on. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull out its low profile one. So again, understand, guys, I had this red dot zeroed, my usual 36 meter zero. And again, with the height over bore being very similar to the scope, this height over bore is going to be insanely high, obviously, up here. I'm looking at about, well, hey, I've got the phone's leaning against the toolbox. Let me grab a tape measure and set you back down. But my height over bore, guys, again, about middle of that dot there to bore, okay, is going to be about 4.5 inches high. That's pretty tall. Now if I was running like night vision or other stuff that I need to kind of passively aim, it's ideal for that. But if you look, because I'm going to have everything so ridiculously tall with the red dot, I'm here. I'm here for my scope, good cheek weld, pulling it in. But for my red dot, I'm going to be here, up high. That's literally like my jaw and my chin touching, and I'll be right there. But I don't, yes, people could say, oh, go for a 45 degree, whole 9 yards there, things like that. If I have to shoot offhand with a 45 degree cant, I'm canting the wrong way. I'm not getting a good shoulder press into it, which even then, passive aiming is a good way to go. I'm just here, and then I just, you know, I aim. I see where it's at and just like point and shoot. Within 25, it's probably gonna hit them, probably. Again, you're accounted for with every shot you make. But that's why me personally, instead of doing the 45 degree cant one way, I like having just vertical here so I can aim and shoot. And if I have to switch hands, I can aim and shoot just fine. Well, that's why I like my red dots high. And again, guys, just because I do something one way doesn't mean you have to do it that way too. I'm not saying that it's this way or the highway or whatever else. It's just what works for me. And the biggest one to find out is to see what works for you. I got a lot of people out there, especially that older generation, where they like using MOAs and second focal plane scopes. And as long as they're hitting what they're aiming at and they're effective, I don't care. They don't care. Now, I'm an MRAD shooter. I like my first focal plane. I like my red dots tall, and I'm not gonna lie, even me, I'm still a sucker for iron sights. Like, guys, the M16, honestly, love the M16. And not for the sake of just, you know, a longer barrel, because we all know I like my longer barrels. But the nostalgia of like an original M16, you know, penciled barrel, 1 in 12 twist rate. Like, I like the nostalgia of that. And that was where, in taking the scope off, I was like, okay, I'm in town now. Closer quarters might be a thing. I still like my 20-inch barrels. Overall though, guys, I built this rifle for a purpose. I took it away from that purpose, so I'm bringing it back to that purpose. To be able to engage properly between 400 and 800 meters. I do have the closer quarters capabilities with the red dot if I need to. But this is just, again, what works for me, guys. So these ones here, because they're so tiny, those tiny little, they only go about 18 inch-pounds. I literally get them, again, snug, and then boop, just a little, boop, a little tighter. You don't need much. But then I'm gonna mount mine, probably, right about there. Just that way. Yeah, that worked just fine. I could go back a little more, but then I'm going to be in the way of if I need to remove the cap for 0. That's why I want to kind of keep it where I am. Oop. So again, we go to snug, and then, I don't know, that right there was all right. Boop. There we go. Solid on there. Let's turn it on. Yeah, I'm not even on the scope, guys, honestly. And honestly, with the height over bore, I'm probably gonna have to adjust a lot, but yeah, this is very, very much so like I'm up high enough. My chin is barely touching the buttstock. I mean, I'm able to comfortably talk and still see the red dot. And then here I am with my scope, red dot, scope, red dot. It's literally just a lift of the head, and there it is, the red dot. But we'll go take this out, confirm 0 on the scope. We'll keep account of how much I need to adjust off the scope. Again, this right here was in the exact same spot. I did have to shift this back one to add the diving board, and then I've got the red dot on top. The red dot's absolutely going to need to be re-zeroed due to just straight up height over bore. Yeah, we'll get back to you guys at the range with this one, and we'll go and blast some stuff. Hey guys, just heading to the range now. I did take my gun in and I got the red dot bore sighted. I'm bottomed out on that red dot just because, again, it's such a height over bore. I mean, 4.5 inches, guys, that's kind of tall. Either way, it's what I did just to make sure I'm at least somewhat close. I can get it on paper and not waste the ammo overall. However, again, the idea behind this visit to the range is to make sure that my scope, if my scope even retains 0, at that distance I've zeroed at. So 200 meters, I'm going to see if it's zeroed up. I did have to adjust that front ring back a bit for the diving board and the red dot on top. So we will see how close I am. That's the whole point of this here. Does a scope, when put on a 1913 Picatinny rail back in the same spot, retain its 0 or not? So we'll see how close we get, and I will show you guys the results in a minute. All right, guys, out at the range, I have my 200-meter gong. I have another 200-meter gong. I also have a 100-meter target, and I've got a little sticky, about 2 inches high at that point. Per all of my information, from 100 to 200, I'm 0.2, I'll say about 0.3 MRAD high at 100. So my point of aim is going to be, here. Point of impact is going to be about there. Equals 0.3 at this distance. 1 MRAD click, so 1/10 of an MRAD is about 1 centimeter. So I'm looking at 3 centimeters, so an inch high. So at this distance, I'm going to see if at 100 meters, I'm 3 centimeters high. If that's the case, then I'd be set to go. So again, I run M193, nothing fancy, nothing over the top. It's just kind of the basic stuff, guys. I do have my spotting scope here. This was a heirloom one from my grandfather. May he rest in peace. But we'll see how accurate I am. Let's get some first shots out. This is literally my first shots. So here we go, guys. Okay, 3-shot group, and it's looking like elevation is right where I want it. I mean, it's where I want it if I was to zero at 100, but I'm off to the right. So let me measure that out real quick. 14. 1.4 MRADs over. Yep. Looks like about that, guys. So, honestly, I'm not a fan of spotting scopes. Finicky. Let's move to the left. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As I'm counting and measuring with my scope, because that's why I like first focal plane, guys. Measuring with my scope, 12 MRADs of adjustment. Two more. I did say 14. I moved 12 to see where I'm sitting, and sure enough, I'm kind of down and to the right with that target there. Here we go. Much better. Go back one. And we should be good. So, again, my impacts elevation-wise are equal to 100. Now that I've got the suppressor hot, it's actually sinking them a little higher. Heck, let me just throw one. Let's see if we hit the gong. Gong's at 200. We hit that. So again, guys, understand this isn't even like actual military M193. This is some cheap Arms Corps stuff. I'm hitting minute a man. I'll go and show you guys the results when I'm done here. And yeah, again, I'm about... Sunglasses keep falling off. I'm about 2 MOA or 2 mils, 0.2 mils about 1 MOA. That's just fine, guys. Again, this is a combat rifle. I'm running the cheaper stuff for the sake of cost savings overall. And honestly, 55 grain on soft tissue. I love the fragmentation of it. I'm not looking for barrier penetration, especially with where I'm at. That's why I choose what I choose. I can find it anywhere, everywhere. Just some basic 55 grain FMJ, and it's nothing fancy about it, guys. Okay? I'm going to zero the red dot just to be on the done side of things. Again, I only have so much time because I'm on a lunch break. But does a scope, when pulled off after zero, when you put it back on, does it retain the zero? Answer to that, close. Again, I had to move right to left. I haven't had to touch elevation, guys. Okay? So, yeah, I'm 14, 1.4 MRADs to the right. I think my total movement was 1.3 MRADs from right to left, excuse me. But elevation, solid, pretty solid. And I have no wind out here, guys. This is actually one of the very few days with where I live in the Midwest, no wind. Midwest, east of Rockies area. So hope this helps you guys out. If you do decide you want to have a scope on something, pull it off, put it back on. It's always, 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 always recommended re-zero your stuff. I've had to adjust on mine. Thank goodness I don't have to really mess with elevation too much. I got lucky. Does a scope, does M1913 rails retain zero? No. Short answer, no. You will have to re-zero, and even then, if you do, I always recommend re-zeroing for the sake of your own comfort level, my own comfort level, but also for the sake of knowing that you are spot on, guys. So hopefully this helps you out. I'll go show the videos after I'm done with this right here. So stand by. So remember how I said I bottomed out my red dot? Literally, I didn't have to. Again, this was a laser bore sight, and I tried to keep it, about 5 inches height over where the laser was here and the red dot was there. And honestly, guys, I've already in 2 shots went from all the way bottomed out to back where I was ish. Again, I can't quite confirm that, but literally, it's kind of a nice one. I went up about literally 2, 3, 4, 15 clicks, and this is an MOA. So now I was shot 1, and then I moved left, and then shot 2, 3, and 4. So I could probably go up 1, 2, and to the left 1. Let's try it right there. And let's bring it down a little more. So per that, 4 down. Yeah, and let's go left 3. Go right 1 more. There we go. I'll show you the string of shooting right here, but I went from the body of the silhouette to the target on the silhouette to the target to the right of the silhouette, and now I'm going to put face shots on the silhouette. Yep, call that good right now. And then again, just to kind of confirm that 200 meter with the red dot. Oop, just high. There's a shot with the red dot. And now, with the scope, okay. Guys, I'm happy with that. And that's what matters. So now am I like, super stupid sniper gonna smoke some dude in like, the left eyeball at 1,000 meters? No. I like long range shooting because that's my environment, guys. I'm doing a lot of distance shooting. I'm doing a lot of open range, wide open plains area, which is why I maximize out my capability at long range, guys. 20-inch barrel with a suppressor. This is literally, that's I think a 9-inch suppressor, 8-inch suppressor. Guys, this is almost a 30-inch barrel. So, hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Out. Okay, guys. So here it was. My first shot here. And then I was off over here somewhere is what I was thinking. So I decided to move to the left. My one shot there, one shot there, one shot there. I knew I felt that one fly out. And I decided, elevation's good. Again, guys, I haven't messed with the elevation. I moved 12 here. Then I moved over again to 14 there. And that was it. So clicked it back to 13, called it good, left it alone. So that's, again, my 100. And again, the entire time, guys, my point of aim is here. All right. So again, having that rise overall, that's going to happen at 200. And then I'll go show you my 50 because that's kind of cool. So then for my 50-yard zero with the red dot, what I did is I was aiming here and I saw I was hitting way low right in there. So moved it up. That was my next shot there. And I was like, oh, okay. I can move that a little bit over. Moved it over here. And that's when I aimed here. That was my shot group there. Did a little adjustment. Hit here, these two. A little to the left there. Came back to the right there. Ended up shooting these 3 here. And these were my last 3 here. Now for a red dot, that's not bad. Again, about 50 yards. I can't remember which one this one was specifically. But again, at these close distance, meters and yards, doesn't matter too terribly much. Again, especially if you're looking at minute of man overall. So that there was re-zeroing the scope on her and re-zeroing the red dot. But to answer the question, again, do red dots and scopes. Come on now. There we go. Do red dots and scopes retain 0 after being removed from the firearm and then placed back onto the firearm? Short answer is no, they do not. You will be slightly off, if not quite a bit off, depending on what adjustments you've made. Now mine, elevation-wise, did not have any adjustments or any kind of off. It wasn't off on elevation, up and down. It was off to the right for windage, and I re-zeroed it to that. It's also 85 degrees. Normally I zero at about 65 degrees. For the sake of, I usually shoot more in the spring and the fall. Kids are in school, things of that nature. Plus, it's hunting season. Where I live, you can hunt with an AR. There's requirements for, expanding tip bullets, things of that nature. I don't hunt a lot, guys, honestly. It ends up costing me more than anything else. But, again, on average, the temperatures where I live estimate between 55 to 60. Obviously, extreme temperature changes like winter and summer do change that, but I have a ballpark figure. So, again, there's your guys' answer. move's finishing up. We're putting some final touches on, and hopefully I can get out to make more content for you guys. If you have suggestions, if you have questions, hit them up in the comments below, guys. I'm always willing and helping other people. I do get my suggestions at my gun counter. So if you have suggestions and you know where I work, come hit me up, ask a question here, ask a question there. Or if there's something you want to see or something you have a question on, something that I don't know, I will find out and I will get you guys that answer. But overall, guys, train hard, stay fit. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Out.